Hi everybody, Tunes91 here again. I want to go over some of my favorite manga and some of my favorite anime with you. So, for all of you out there that didn't realize, yes, I absolutely love manga and anime. And in order to qualify this list, obviously it has to be in the style of a manga, where you read it from back to front, front to back, whatever. And this can include anime that is also movies. So, for example, if it was an anime that was meant for a theatrical release, or an anime that was from a series that then was made into short, like longer movies. So, a series that was made into a movie, like Evangelion, things like that, or a Silent Voice that was made into a movie, those are also included on this list. That being said, there are so many good manga and anime out there that I am ending up not making it on this 5. I'm doing a top 5 of each list, and this list may change as time goes on because I only have been delving into manga and anime for about a year now. So, that being said, things like Elfen Lied, I absolutely love that show. Sword Art Online, love that show. And then like manga such as Homunculus, No Longer Human. They're not going to make it on this list, but they are all very good, and I love them all. So we're going to start with anime. This is a movie. It's called Vampire Hunter D, and this is the very first thing that I was ever introduced to as far as anime goes. Bloodlust and the original Vampire Hunter D are both exquisite in my mind. That is more of a nostalgic element to it than anything. It is just such a well-developed story in my mind, and for the time, especially the technology behind how they created the story was just very well utilized, and I think the story itself is just very good, and I love that, like the vampires and the werewolves and all that kind of stuff. So in my mind, that earns its place at number 5 for me for anime. Now, number 5 on the manga side is a series that I am just getting into, but I'm absolutely captivated by. I've read 5 of the series, 5 volumes so far, and I'm rereading the first just to kind of like keep it fresh in my mind, because I kind of skip between manga. Basically just read whatever I'm in the mood for. And this is called Dorohedoro. This is awesome. It takes place in a post-apocalyptic world where there are these people that can do like spells and different things like that. They use magic. It's like this black mist that shoots out of their hands, stuff like that. And it's got this giant lizard man in it, and he's trying to figure out who this phantom is that's living inside of him, whether or not if it's his own soul that's stuck within this lizard exoskeleton, as he's living in this post-apocalyptic city. And it is super fucking cool. So, number 4 for me on the anime side is called Ergo Proxy. Now, I'm going to leave it at this. The visuals are stunning, the story is stunning, and if you like The Matrix but want more of a narrative, well-composed dialogue, story, etc., give this a check. I think if you're a fan of the way The Matrix kind of conveys technology, and would be interested in seeing like this neo-punk world where the government is kind of crumbled and controls all these different things and whatever else, Ergo Proxy is definitely something to look into. It is absolutely rad. Again, the visuals are absolutely freaking stunning, and the storyline is awesome. So, that is number 4 for anime for me. Number 4 for manga. I read this way before I ever heard about the film. I'm glad that it actually got a film recently. I actually haven't seen it yet. So it may have made this list for anime, but I don't know. As I said, that might change. But again, number 4 for manga is A Silent Voice. A Silent Voice is kind of an accumulation of all things. It's heartbreaking, it's beautiful, it's a story about a boy who makes fun of a girl in his class, the new girl, who is deaf, and she ends up transferring schools, and he gets older, and he ends up finding her and apologizing to her, and they end up being friends. But it is such a good coming of age story, and it's written in a way where I feel like teenagers or adults could really enjoy it, because there's some subject matter in here, the bullying and all that kind of stuff that we can all relate to, and it's not always like this, frou-frou younger style story where everything is bubbly and fun. It's really not that way at all. It's such a well-composed, beautiful story, and I really, really enjoy it so far. I'm three manga in for this one. 3 volumes in. Next up on my list for anime, I love this story. This is kind of what reintroduced me to anime a year ago. Some of my buddies were huge in anime for years and tried getting me to watch things like Bleach and Naruto, and I absolutely hate both of those, I'm not going to lie to you. And I had dated a girl that loved One Piece and, Luffy and all that shit. Sorry, can't help myself. One Piece, Fairy Tail, those are not my style whatsoever. I when it comes to anime, I definitely like some of the darker stuff, or actual like coming of age stuff. Like if I think I would love the Silent Voice film. But as far as those more fantastical, bubbly, fun ones, I can't really jump on board with that. But that being said, my friends made me try this one because, they told me I was going to love it, and it was more my style, and that is Evangelion. Evangelion is amazing, alright? And I remember when I was a kid, I used to watch, Dragon Ball Z and Gundam Wing. And Gundam Wing has, in many respects, some similarities to Evangelion, in the sense that it's these, with Gundam it's obviously robots, and in this they're angels that they're controlling, that they find out. But that concept of fighting in like a bigger suit or a bigger body is really cool, and the fact that they can only use teens, and so like teenagers are being forced to do more adult things and make adult decisions is really interesting, and it's pretty gut-wrenching and a very, very well composed story. So that being said, that is number 3 for me on my anime side. Number 3 for me on my manga side. This is my first manga I ever read. Love it. It's gritty. It's exactly what I was looking for out of a manga. I, again, spent so much time thinking, and this is my own problem, obviously, and I grew out of this mindset, but I spent so much time thinking that, manga, anime, I wasn't going to end up liking it because I was only used to things like Sailor Moon, Pokemon, etc., where everything is all this bubbly fun, and I was just like, that's not enjoyable to me at all. Not that everything has to be dark and dreary, but I just like some of the more gritty things, So when I found Berserk, I was pleasantly surprised, and I absolutely love Berserk. I'm 5 volumes into Berserk right now, and I think that is absolutely awesome. Any Game of Thrones fan out there, I think, would love Berserk. That being said, I'm not huge on Game of Thrones, but Berserk is absolutely freaking stunning. So, next on my list for anime, I actually don't have a physical copy of it. I've got it on Hulu, so I don't really need to own it. That is Tokyo Ghoul. Tokyo Ghoul. I actually have a sick tattoo of Tokyo Ghoul. Ken Kaneki right here. Yeah, oops. I'm a bit of a fan. So, Tokyo Ghoul is just absolutely everything that I was looking for. That was the second anime I was introduced to after Evangelion on my own. I was kind of looking through things, and in between classes I needed something to kind of fill my time with 2 semesters ago, because I had like a 2-hour gap. So I pretty much watched all of Tokyo Ghoul within that semester, and I thought it was absolutely freaking awesome. The character arcs are very interesting to me, and the dialogue and the background and on the ghouls and whatever else, and just this concept of kind of the main character fighting, becoming something that everyone else is afraid of, and he's afraid to become that as well. He'd rather die almost at first, but such a well-composed story in my mind. And that brings us to my number 2 choice for manga as well, which is also Tokyo Ghoul. I absolutely love this story. I think it's great, and yeah, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful stuff. Number 1 choice for anime did not make it on my top 5 choice for manga, but it would make it on there. It just so happens that I think that the anime is literally perfection. The perfect anime. The most perfect anime I'm ever going to see, I guarantee it. And that is Death Note. Death Note is everything I ever wanted to see in an anime. It is dramatic, it is thrilling, it is edge of your seat, nail-biting thrilling. It is psychologically well composed, it is narratively driven, it is smartly written, it has all these different references that are, to religion and the Bible and whatever else, and at the core of it all, it's just about what makes you human. And again, I have a Ryuk tattoo on my arm. I'm a big fan. I have a lot of pop culture reference tattoos all over my body, so that being said, Death Note is one of my favorite things ever made, period. And I think it's just a lovely, lovely story on what it is to be human. My number 1 choice for manga, as of right now, I don't feel like this is ever going to leave my top 10. Is just a very well composed coming of age story, and it's just so beautifully written, and interesting characters, and great story arcs, and heartbreaking and heartwarming, and pretty much just captivates everything that it is to be a person, and going through all these different growing pains. And you can relate to the main character, you can relate to the characters around him, you can relate to every little bit of the story, that it just becomes kind of one of those stories that becomes a part of you. And that is Goodnight Pun Pun. Goodnight Pun Pun, I am on number 3, volume 3 of that. And to me, it is just one of the most beautifully written coming of age stories that I've ever even come across. I love how they kind of do a third person narrative in black, and then they go to the story that's kind of like first person. They go back and forth like that. It's very, very interesting, and the minimalist approach to the character and the representation of how he finds him and his life and his parents, this minimalist kind of what's the word I'm looking for? He feels like he's lesser than, so all of his drawings and his family's drawings are like these ridiculous basic characters drawn like this, and then everybody else has all this detail in them. So I found that to be very, very interesting. I like the psychological approach that also has the physical embodiment in the story of Goodnight Pun Pun. That being said, I hope you enjoyed my top 5 picks of manga and anime, and I will be continuing to kind of go along with some of these collections of manga and anime that I like, and I'll start doing some reviews on individual manga and anime coming soon. Talk to you all later. Bye.
What do you say when you found Berserk? That you went?
Berserk?
Berserk.
You were holding that in this whole time.